Because it's purple and I love purple. And I was so angry at myself for I could literally bathe in glitter and I would be happy. Like, hello everyone, welcome to my channel for today's video. I can't take myself seriously because I am so late with this video that it's actually ridiculous. I'm going to be talking about my 2021 eyeshadow palette favorites. So I've got, I think, 10 palettes here. So basically my top 10 of 2021. I'm going to go in alphabetical order by brand and just talk to you about the palettes that I love throughout 2021. I know this is ridiculously late. It's almost March. I should have filmed this like 2 months ago, but life, you know, I'm late with everything except for one thing. Okay. Anyway, if you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe and let's get into this video. Okay, so the first palette I have is a palette I didn't actually buy when it first launched. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina. This is the volume 5 palette. I love this palette. I love the formula of these a lot. I have them all and this one is no exception. Like, this is the most gorgeous purple color story. Like, if you're into purples, you need this in your life. There's a lot of options of things you can create. You can create just a cool tone neutral look. You can create a purple look. You know, there's a lot of combinations that you can do in this palette, and I think it's a great formula. It is a pressed pigment palette, so you do have to be careful because I've had people come to me and be like, you recommend this palette and it sucks. And I'm like, no, it's a pressed pigment palette. You have to be careful with it. Like, it doesn't blend the same way as normal eyeshadows, so you do have to be a little careful with that, but it's an amazing palette. Every time I want to do a purple look, I dip into this one. By the way, before I forget, can you tell what palette's on my eyes? I hope you can, because honestly, it's so... Come on, you can tell which one it is. You know what palette's on my eyes. You know what palette I'm going to talk about in the top 10. You know what palette's on my eyes. I almost used this one, but I decided to use the one that I always use. Anyway, like, I've used this palette on my eyes like probably the most out of 2021. So obviously, I'm going to do my palette rankings soon too, by the way. I am a mess. I'm a mess. I'm going to get better. I promise you I will get things done on time eventually. At some point in life, I will actually have videos that are done at the right time. I really like the formula of this. The mattes are amazing. They're super pigmented. Like, just look. That was one little swipe, one little tiny swipe. That's all you need. And you get this intense pigmentation. Lots of looks you can create. I love the shimmers as well. The shimmer formula is one of my favorites. Look at that, gorgeous. It has like a green purple shift. It's almost a duochrome. It is a duochrome. So pretty. I love that shade. I love creating a purple smoky eye with that one. I just reminded myself how much I need to use this palette a little bit more. There are a couple of pressed glitters in this palette, so I know a lot of people don't love that. This is a pressed glitter and this is a pressed glitter. I don't mind them. I love using them in my inner corner. These are so pretty. Perfect inner corner shades, honestly. And yeah, I really like this palette a lot. I think the formula is great. If you're looking for a new eyeshadow palette to add to your collection, I recommend checking out these palettes. Pick your favorite color story and buy one, because it's seriously such a great formula. I love it so much. I'm surprised though. I'm surprised that this is in my top 10 because I didn't buy it when I first launched. I was like, I don't need it. And then I was like, I want it because it's purple and I love purple. Next, I have, you know I'm going to say this palette. This is the Perfect Carnival, the Antidote palette. I love this palette so much. By the way, I pretty much have individual reviews of each of these palettes on my channel, so I will have them linked down below if you're interested in watching the full review. But I did 3 looks 1 palette with this one. I think I did 3 looks 1 palette with all of them, to be honest. First of all, the Be Perfect formula is so underrated. I feel like not a lot of people talk about this. I think it's a great formula. Like, literally the mattes are super pigmented. They're kind of harder mattes, like hard to the touch. Like, they feel hard, but they blend out so easily that makes them pigmented. I love the color story of this palette because you can get pretty bright. You can also get pretty neutral, and I love greens. So I had to have this palette. I knew the moment it launched because I love all the collaborations with Stacey Marie. Fun fact, I think a lot of my followers know this, but my favorite palette of all time is the Be Perfect Carnival XL Pro, which is basically a rainbow version of this. Like, it has a bunch of rainbow tones. It also has a bit of a neutral section as well, so you can kind of mix and match, and that's my go-to palette for shading my creative looks that I do on Instagram, and it's also my go-to rainbow palette, so I really enjoy that palette a lot. But this one's fun because it's got a lot of unique colors in it that I don't have in my collection. Like, I don't have an orange like this that's as intense. I don't have a mustard yellow like this. I love it, and the greens are just so pretty. The shimmers are gorgeous. Actually, most of these are metallics. So actually, I think all of them are metallics. Like, look at that intense metallic. I love it. I love it so much. I really like the formula Be Perfect. I think this is a brand that a lot of people sleep on. It is hard to get in the States, so maybe that's why. Actually, Beauty Bay, I think sometimes carries. I don't think it has this palette though. I'm gonna check. I'll have a link down below if you can get it in the States. If not, I recommend getting it directly from the Be Perfect website. You do have to pay shipping though, which sucks. Ugh. This is a palette I didn't expect to love either. This is the Huda Beauty Rose Quartz palette. Oh my god, I love this palette. Cool tone lovers dream. I love this shade right here. Oh my gosh, so pretty. Like, I think that this has a really unique color story. It looks like this is the one I'm wearing, but I promise you it's not. Actually, I just realized how similar it is to the palette that I am wearing, but it's okay. I really like the formula of Huda's eyeshadows, the big palettes, the smaller palettes. As you know, I'm not a huge fan of them at all. They're made in China. They don't have as good quality. This is made in Italy. Really great quality. The mattes are super pigmented. Like, that was one little swipe there. One little swipe. So these are soft and buttery and smooth. A little bit of a different formula than the Be Perfect one, but it is so nice. I love it. I honestly do love the color story. I know a lot of people think that Huda is a little bit repetitive in her color stories, which she is. Like, literally the other big palettes like this are very similar to this. I think Mercury Retrograde is very similar to this, except for the fact that it has a blue, I believe. It has like a pastel blue. I have it there too, somewhere. But also she needs to get rid of this peachy shade. I don't like it. Like, put on a shade that's usable there, please, for the love of God. But anyway, I still really like the palette despite those things. I like this duochrome right here. It's like a brown to blue shift. It's so pretty. I love creating looks with this. I think you can get a really beautiful ethereal look with this palette, so I love it so much. Okay, next we have the Kaleidos Club Nebula Palette. This is the collaboration with Angelica Nievquist, which I love her so much. She's my happy clown person that I go to. Like, literally, she loves colorful makeup like I do, so I definitely I watch every single one of her videos. Anyway, this color story is gorgeous. I also did a 3 looks 1 palette with it. Oh, ignore this right here. I'm pretty sure I got a drop of paint, of my body paint in here, and it won't come off, and it's really sad. I love this because I love her taste in colors. I did actually buy her newest collab with Odin's Eye, which I've never tried Odin's Eye, so that video is coming soon. Literally, I bought this palette for 3 shades. Literally, just 3. Well, 4. Okay, I like all the mattes. I like all the mattes in the top row. I like the entire top row. I love the entire top row. I love this shimmer. That's like my number 1 favorite out of all of them. You might think, oh, it's just like a blue teal kind of metallic, but I think it's very unique to my collection. I love blue teal shades. It's slightly different though than any one that I own, so I had to have it. I also really love this purple shimmer as well. It's like a lilac. It's super pretty. And then this green, I love it so much. I think you can create so many looks with this palette, and it's just like such a fun palette to have. So I'm really glad I bought it. You can no longer get it, so unfortunately that's just the way it is. But if you're interested in supporting her and her other collab, I think that the Odin's Eye palette, the Hella palette, is still available. So next we have another collab eyeshadow palette. This is the Lethal Cosmetics and Tree Says Dead Lethal is Dead palette. So let me take it out of the sleeve. I love the color story of this, so I had to support this green. Very similar to the Club Nebula, but also not. It has a very similar texture though too, which is interesting. I feel like the Club Nebula has a little bit more of a sparkle though, so like a little more intense metallic. I just love the variety of shades you get in here. You can create a ton of different looks. Like, you can go the blue green route, you can go the blue like purplish route, you can go pink purple, pink blue. There's so many things you can do with this palette. I really like it a lot. And this was my first ever Lethal Cosmetics palette, and I will definitely be purchasing from them again because I love the formula. I think it's great. The mattes are very soft and buttery and smooth, and they blend out. And I love the metallics. I think the metallics they're not as intense as I would normally like, but they're still really pretty. They're a little more muted than I'm used to, but they still look really pretty on the eyes. Like, so pretty. I love this palette a lot. Okay, next we have a palette that I also didn't buy when it launched, and I was so angry at myself for not doing that. Like, angry. Anyway, this is the Milk Cosmetics Amor y Mariposas palette. First of all, the packaging got me. I'm a sucker for anything like this, like gothic butterfly tattoos. I don't even know what I'm saying. It looks like something you would find at, like, I would get this tattooed on myself. Like, legit, I would. Even in color. I think that would be so cool, actually. I really like this palette. It is a pressed pigment palette again, so you have to be careful. The formula of this is fantastic. The color story, oh my gosh, I love it. The only thing I could do with that is like these two shades. Literally, I don't like them. Like I don't think they look well at they don't look good on my eyes. Like I think they're too similar to each other, first of all, but they're also like kind of boring. They're just taupey, like whatever. I wish I would have loved like a more yellow or like an orange. I don't know. That's just me personally, but like I think this palette caters to a lot of people because you can create a neutral look with a pop of color as well as a green look, an orange red look, a purple pink look, you know? There's a lot of options of things you can create. The formula is fantastic. The metallics, let me tell you, they are so sexy. So sexy. Look at that. Look at that sheen. Beautiful. I love it so much. I think they're all metallics pretty much. I just love this Michoacan shade. Oh my god. Yeah, I think this is a shimmer. Like it's not as intense as the other ones. I would have loved it even more if it was like a crazy intense metallic. It's a beautiful shimmer. Like it does have that beautiful sheen, but it's not like as crumbly. I love a crumbly metallic. I love a crumbly metallic. Are you kidding? They are mowing the lawn now. Are you serious? I hope they finished it. Anyway, you may look at this and think I personally have all of this in my collection, like all these colors. No, they are slightly different. I don't think I have this shade like Abuelita here, a shade like Perla aquí, here, and then I don't think I have a shade like Noob, which is this one, that purple. It's so pretty. This color story is amazing. The formula is fantastic. I really love this palette a lot. I'm gonna have a hard time. I've ranked, so I have all of my palettes that I tried last year laying out on the floor, like in this room, and it's a mess. So I've ranked all of the other ones, but I haven't ranked my top 10 because I set them aside for this video. I have them sitting in alphabetical order so I could talk about them. So it's gonna be interesting to rank these because I don't know which one's gonna go. I know which one's gonna go first. I definitely know which one's gonna go first, the one that I love the most. I'm not gonna tell you yet though. I might have already talked about it. Ooh. We're getting into Pat McGrath, and I only have two. I have both palettes that she launched last year. She launched a few quads last year too. But we've got Celestial Divinity, what the hell? Celestial Odyssey. I love this palette so much. So this is not that intense Mothership palette formula because it's made in the US. It's not made in Italy like her Mothership palettes are, but it's still a great formula. If you want to dip your toes into Pat McGrath, I highly recommend these palettes. She recently, and I'm gonna check for this video, hopefully it is the case that she actually brought back Celestial Odyssey and Celestial Divinity as a bundle on her website, and I highly recommend to pick those up because Celestial Divinity is also gorgeous. I actually prefer the color story of Celestial Divinity, even though it's very similar to all of Pat McGrath's like color stories. I love this. I love teal. I love teal. I love green. I love this deep blue. I love creating smoky eyes with this one. Is so pretty. Like, just think about that. That's gorgeous. The color story is really, really nice, and she always has like a good amount of mattes. I would say I would have loved one more matte, or maybe switch out one of these, or one of they're too similar to one another. In the grand scheme of things, in a palette this size, I would have liked to have a more variety. You know what I mean? It actually looks really like this matte looks really similar to the next palette I'm going to talk about, to a matte in the next palette I'm going to talk about, Utopian Dream, which I'm sure already knew that. This is a stunning shade though. I love it. I feel like a lot of these shades are unique to my collection, and I really like the formula. Her metallics are great even in this formula, but you all know that there is nothing like the Blitz Astral formula, which is found in Utopian Dream. This is the palette on my eyes today. Obviously I'm wearing this gorgeous sexy shade here. I'm crazy. In the center of my lid. When I first got this, I was excited, trust me, but I wasn't like, oh my god, like over the moon about it, because I was like, there's only so many looks you can create because there's only 3 mattes and the rest are shimmers. But you can create so many looks with this palette, so many more than you think. I created a halo eye today, put this in the center, gorgeous. You could use this as a transition, you could use this as a transition, or this could be a pop of color. It's a really gorgeous peach, but you see what I'm saying though? This peachy shade is very similar to the one in Celestial Odyssey, so I wish you would kind of have more variety. I put this on my lower lash line today. It was so pretty, and I love using this one as either a lid topper or in the inner corner, which I used in the inner corner today. The Blitz Astral shades are a little tricky. A lot of people don't prefer them, but I love them so much because I've learned how to use them. You have to spray your brush or cut your crease or do something of the sort so the glitter particles don't get everywhere, but I don't care. I could literally bathe in glitter and I would be happy. Like, I love glitter. So if you love glitter, I highly recommend checking out any Mothership palette. Like, she always has these four, well, except for one of them. One of the Mothership palettes doesn't have any of the Blitz Astral shades. These four Blitz Astral shades always on the right. So in almost every Mothership, that's the way it's going to be. The Blitz Astral formula is fantastic. Even the metallics in these palettes are amazing though. They feel different even to Celestial Odyssey. I'm telling you, like, these palettes are made in Italy, literally so good. Okay, only two more palettes to go. Next we have one from Natasha Denona. You know I'm going to talk about this one. I love this one so much. This is the Natasha Denona Circle Loco palette. This is everything I could hope for in a palette. It literally drives me loco. Okay, so I love this because of the color story. First of all, the formula is really great. This is also made in Italy. This is Natasha Denona's great quality. I love the color story. I love the formula. I love the cream to powder formula. I think it's really stunning. It does take a little bit of getting used to. My fingers are very, very dirty. I'm so sorry. The best part of this palette is the shimmer quality. Super intense shimmer. I love them. I love, okay, it looks a little chaotic. I think this is what my head would look like if you like slice my brain open. Like, this is what my brain would look like. It's just like a vomit of colors, like a random assortment of colors. I kind of wish she would have arranged this a little differently. A lot of people look at this and get really intimidated and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what kind of look to create now. But I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's a great, it challenges, it brings out the inner artist in me and I love it so much. So you can create so many looks with this, like so many, and I love it. I do wish that she made this the midi size, not the big size, the normal size, which is $129. I would have like literally 1,000 times more paid the $65 price point. But I mean, I did pay the $129 price point, but you know what I mean? Like, I would have preferred to pay the other one. Okay, so the last palette I have is from Too Faced. This is weird. This is weird. This is really, really weird because it's Too Faced. Like, who even uses Too Faced anymore? I was really impressed by this palette though. I really liked it. This is the Too Faced Cinnamon Swirl palette, if I didn't mention that, by the way. I hadn't tried Too Faced in quite a few years until I bought this one. I just really wanted to try it out again and see how I liked it. And I'm glad I did, honestly. I think it's a great palette for the price. It's probably the cheapest palette in this video, I think. I could be wrong. I remember back in the day when I first bought like the chocolate bar palette, it was like my holy grail forever. Like, I loved neutral looks back then. And I thought that was a crazy price point. I was like, I'm spending $50 on an eyeshadow palette. Like, kill me now. And now I spent $129. So like, it's all good. I was really impressed with it. I think the shimmers are really pretty. Quality wise and color story wise, I think you can create a lot of looks. You can create more pinky looks, you can create more neutral looks, and I think it's a lot of fun. And I think this is catered more to the everyday consumer. Like, somebody who likes really neutral looks would definitely love this. I think the quality is really great. The mattes are really nice. They're very smooth to the touch. I really like them, but they blend out really nicely. And I don't know, there's like a lot of looks you can create. The only thing I would have gotten rid of is this shade, because it's just like a shade darker than this shade. And I think you could always use a bone colored matte in any palette, but this shade is just kind of like chilling there. I don't think I've used it very much, to be honest, but I think this is like my go-to palette when I'm looking for like a neutral look. And I think the quality is really great. The quality is there and it's really nice. Okay, so those are my top 10 eyeshadow palettes. Again, I'm so sorry I'm late. I really do want to start doing things on time. I'm so sorry that I'm always late for everything. It's just life has gotten crazy. And yeah, okay, I'm gonna stop rambling now because I can only apologize so many times. Anyway, let me know what palette was your favorite from last year. I would love to know. My ranking video will be up next. I'm gonna try to get it up after this, like right after this video, like I promise, like the next day. And yeah, okay, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. This is the Be Perfect H. Okay, like I think Mercury record that there's nothing like the but you all know. So that was okay. So this ranking my ranking